Well, hello everyone. It is Sunday. Yay. And we have something to celebrate. Thanks to each and every one of you guys, we have reached the 50,000 subscriber mark. And I couldn't have done it without every one of you. So thank you very much. I appreciate each and every one of you. And the next big milestone would be 100K. And I can get the pretty little plaque to put on my wall. Just saying. So if you know 50,000 more people, send them my way. Anyhow, so we have some makes. In Friday's live, I had asked for some suggestions of small things that I could make with that XL sprinkles yarn that I purchased. You only get like 65 yards a skein, 65, 67, something like that. And I mean, I could do some of the small things that I already have, but I kind of don't want to do the same thing. I kind of wanted something different. So there were lots of suggestions. And I did make one from the list of suggestions, but it ended up taking more than one skein of yarn. So I was trying to do it where I could get an item out of that 65 to 67 yards, if that makes any sense. And because it's thicker yarn and you have to use a bigger hook, if you have a small item that takes 60 yards, it may not necessarily work because it uses more per inch, I guess you would say, to make the stitches. It takes more yarn to make the stitches because the stitch is bigger, if that makes any sense at all. So I kind of concentrated on smalls. I have a few bigger items, but I was concentrating on smalls. I needed keychains in a couple of things. On Friday, I went through and I tagged everything I already had made. And I sorted through my price tags to see. Just having that visual helps me see what I need to remake. And then it also let me see, okay, this one I will never make again. Let me get this tag out of here because I don't want to make that again. So I got all those priced and in the system. And then as I was going from Friday, with the exception of, I think, one or two things here, because they're new, I went ahead and I had my tags pulled out and I tagged them and entered them into inventory so that it's done and over with. So, let's just start with, I made more eggs for my chicks and eggs, but when I was tagging them Friday, I got them mixed up and put them in the done bin, so I don't have them here to show you, but you guys know what the chicks and eggs look like. And they were done with the white shells. I have 5 more left that need their eggshells, but it's not like desperate to get them done because I have plenty made now. I was just making as many as I had tags for, if that makes sense. So, for example, if I went in and I had 3 tags for, oh gosh, let's say a pickle, then I would make 3 pickles to use up those tags and put them back out there. Now, who knows how long it might have taken me to sell those pickles, because when I get done at the market, I take the tags and I put them in the same container as the other tags. So it's an accumulation of markets from those tags. Unless it was something new or a larger item, then it's like, okay, yeah, I know this one went to 2 markets and it sold pretty quick. So that's kind of like how my thinking was with this. But let's start with keychains. So I sold out of blueberry keychains. Now maybe it's the time of year. People are thinking, you know, little fruits or whatever. So I had 3 tags in my bin, so I made 3 more little blueberry keychains. Now these, I just freehand them. It's like super easy. There's no pattern for me to direct you to. I don't know, maybe one day we'll do a video on how to make a blueberry keychain. I'm sure that some of you more experienced crocheters could absolutely figure it out on your own, and others that are new might need a little help with a tutorial or a pattern. But yeah, so we have 3 blueberry keychains. I should have brought my basket. And then I did 3 of the Mushy Boy keychains, and I did the mushroom tops in all different colors. I did a purple, and I don't like how those curl up. A red. Oh my goodness. One thing about, now these are done in Parfait Chunky, but I've been using a lot of the Chenille Brights lately, and I find that the fluff that comes from that tends to stick better to things than normal fluff. If that makes sense. Better as in, like, better for it, not for me. So we had the purple, the red, and then I did one in maize with the Parfait Chunky. So I had 3 tags and made 3 keychains out of them. And this one is a free Instagram pattern by Victoria Hernandez Knittery. Knittory. So that gives me 6. And then, since I was doing the stingrays on Friday, I decided to make a couple of little stingrays out of Parfait Chunky. And these I put the little Google eyes on because you'll feel the backs of the eyes. Because it's so small and thin. So I just glued the little Google eyes on. Now I only had 1 tag of these, but I made 2, so I had to make up a new tag for it. And the blue was a little thicker than the black, so it ended up being just a little bit bigger. And these are, I'm going to butcher this name, Chesdu Cotton. I'm sure it flows smoother somehow than how it just came out of my mouth. But yeah, that is also a free pattern on Instagram. And a lot of people make that little stingray. So then I did another F-bomb. Now this is free-handed as well. And I used the die cuts. I bought a little alphabet pack of the dies so that I could have a nice clean F to put on my F-bomb. And that was the only reason I bought those alphabet dies. And then I use Gorilla Glue, hot glue, to attach it to the plushie. And this is more of a, older teen, young adult type item. Just saying. I wouldn't want to sell it to a little kid. And they shouldn't know what it is. But I'm sure they do. So this is free-handed. It's also, you know, I can't direct you to a pattern for it. There is possibly one out there because I swear nothing is ever new. It seems like it's been done before. But yeah, I just freehand those. And then we did a rubber ducky keychain. I had one before, sold it. So I decided to make another one, and I used the maize yellow color. And this particular little duck pattern is by Amateur Hour. It is free on Instagram. So that is 3 out of 5 so far that were free. Yeah. So this next one is so funny because I've had it saved for the longest time, and I just haven't made it. As cute as I think they are, I just haven't made it. And I'm glad I did finally sit down and make it. So this is also a free pattern on Instagram. It is by Tinkering Crochet, and it is a little possum. And I just think it turned out so small and cute. I was so happy with this. I went to make a second one. So these would be new for me. And I'm looking at the pattern and then realized on this first one, I missed around. But I really like the size of this one. The eyes didn't quite land where they should have because, you know, I'm counting the rounds and I put them in between the 2 rounds that it said to. But what happens is you'd have 4 single crochets of the pink, and then you're supposed to change to the white and then do 4 single crochets of the white, and then the next round is an increase round. Somehow I missed the first round of white where it was supposed to be just 4 single crochets. So I caught that on the second one, and I started over like 3 times because I did not like how it was coming out. I'm like, oh, this can't be right. And that's how I realized I messed up on this one. But it made it like, and I know possums have like long noses, but it made it look really weird. So I skipped that white round of 4, and I just did 1 extra round of, I think it was 16, to get the face big enough to be able to have the eyes in the white part. And so this one is just a little bit longer, but it has the amount of rounds it's supposed to have. It's just one of them is bigger around rather than having the really long snout on this little dude. And starting with 4 single crochets in a magic circle is not easy. I don't like doing it. I find it very hard to flip it right side out. So going from 4 to the increased round of 8 made it much easier to deal with. But I think these are very cute. So these have been added to the inventory, and they are already priced. So that gave me 12 keychains to add to my bucket. So, and then, well, only 1 new one, but you know, the little possum is new. Okay, so in Friday's live, it is not easy to crochet and talk at the same time, let me tell you, especially when the talking requires reading to be able to reply and talk. So if you are going to do a live where you're actually crocheting, if you are not working on something that's flat, that's just repeating row after row after row, and you have to count, pick something really easy. It gets hard. So I thought that I had picked an easy item, and that was the stingrays. And I believe, oh, this is the one I started with. And I messed up so many times. I made sure I broke out the stitch marker for the second one, but I think I got 2 made during the live, and these are really fast. And the live was about 1 hour and 45 minutes. I only got 2 made. So you don't make a whole lot of progress when you're chit-chatting in a live. So we have the coral. What I had discovered is between the markets, not in like one market in particular, but you know, you sell 1 or 2 here and you sell 1 or 2 there. I had sold a lot more of these than I thought. And I noticed at the last market that pretty much all I had left was like blues and greens, and all the girly colors were gone. So that's what I decided to do. So we did this coral, I think, peach. We did this peach. We did 2 in the light pink, 1 in blush, 1 in blush, and 1 in, I think this one is bubblegum, like ballet pink, bubblegum. Then there's hibiscus. So that's like a light, medium, and a dark. And then just for good measure, I threw in a yellow. So then I go to tag them, and I made 1 more than what I needed to use up the pre-made tags. So I had to make a new tag. So we have, 6 little stingrays to add to that basket at the market in some girly colors. And who knows, maybe another young lady will come along and want to match her stingray to her Pop-Tart. So, and again, that pattern is by, and I'll butcher this again, Chezdu Cotton, CHEZDOUXCOTON. 1 T in cotton. So we had made some rubber ducks, and of those rubber ducks, it was like the mint green and pink, but I used a darker pink, and those were the ones that sold. So to replace those and get those tags back out there in commission, we made a light pink. The last one, I think it was in the hibiscus. So I did a light pink, and then I did a mint green to fill that basket back up and get those colors back into commission with those tags. Now we're getting to well, I have 1 more item that was using up the tags. Well, technically 2 more items, 3 more items. It's total 6 items, but 3 different things, so using up tags that I already had made. So I had mentioned that I was down to just 2 axolotls, and I haven't made an axolotl in a while. So these took me a minute, because, I mean, it's been a few months, I'm sure, at least, since I've made an axolotl. They're not something that do really well for me. But, again, I have such a big variety. It's hard to say, like, this is a bestseller, this isn't a bestseller, because I put out such a big variety. I don't go with just, 20 or 25 variations, various different plushies. I have a lot. And I like it like that. I feel like it offers a better variety to the customer. I don't know. And plus it makes it more fun and interesting for me. So we broke out the axolotl pattern, and we started with pink. This is the pink that I think I made the duck out of that sold. But this is actually the prettiest pink. So we did pink, and this is my pattern. His head is a little crooked. I got his eyes on there, a little wonky. So we'll just hold him like this. This is my pattern, but I did where the bobble stitch legs go. I did the like leggy frog style legs there. And all you do if you have that pattern is wherever it says to put the bobble, you place a single crochet, chain however many you want. I think I did 9, and then make the little toes, however many toes you want to put on it. I believe I was told that I believe I was told that a real axolotl has 4 toes in the front and 5 in the back. 5 is a little rough to get in there. but it can be done. So this is the first time I've done this pattern using the brights. Let me straighten him out. And not sure that I like the look of it in the brights. I do like it in Sweet Snuggles and Home Slim, but I am so limited on colors on those. I mean, I have quite a bit of it over there, but very limited on colors. So I can't do bright, fun ones with that because, of course, those are the colors that I used up. And I just have like darker, like not bright and cheery colors. So we did the pink. Then I did blue. Got the head much better on this one. And he just turned out better because I got the head straighter. And then I did one in yellow with rust as the accent color. And again, his head's a little crooked. I don't know what my problem was. It looked straight when I was putting the eyes in. And then, oh well, he's kind of just cocking his head looking at you. So this pattern is by me and is available in my Etsy shop, but the pattern that is there has the bobble stitches for legs, which are faster. It saves time, but I just kind of wanted to have the leggy legs on it. And I just told you how to do that. Where the bobble goes, that's where you put the leggy, you know, just leggy frog style. That's the easiest way to explain it. So we did that. Now, I said I had asked for suggestions on what to make with the XL yarn. So I selected one to do, and this suggestion was from Nancy. And I am pretty sure that I've done this pattern one time before because it was very familiar. And there is an error in the pattern. Like I find that with most, well, not most, but a lot of Instagram free patterns. I find there are errors in them. The duck has an error. I think that's it out of the ones that I used for this that I can, off the top of my head, say it has an error in it. So this one, I used the Parfait Chunky Sprinkles and an 8mm hook. And the only metal 8mm hook I have is a Susan Bates. I do have some plastic Clover ones, and I know I put them in like a plastic pencil box, but I can't put my hands on that pencil box. It's around here somewhere. And I guess very shortly, once I get to start moving things out of this room and rearranging, it's going to be so much nicer to be able to like fit everything and not trip over stuff to walk through. I'm pretty sure I'll come across it then as I'm getting all that set up, which will take me a minute. A good long minute, I'm sure. But anyways, so here is what we made. This dinosaur. And this one, this color, it was Surf, I believe it's called. So, like I said, I got most of it done. I got down to like the head and the tail. I had to get into a second skein. It almost made it, but it definitely was not enough to do this pattern. And this one is a free pattern by Kaylee Crochet on Instagram. The tail is kind of strange when you do that. The error is, I believe, in the decreases for like you're decreasing to start to go to do the neck, and then you come back and reattach your yarn to do the tail. But the tail never comes out. I'm pretty sure the first time, I think I've done it a couple of times. that my tail faced a different direction each time. But makes them all unique, right? But yeah, so it's free. And it's really not that hard. Just keep in mind that your tail is going to look different each time you do it. Because it just, I don't know. It's just how it works out. He is a good size. I did not measure how tall he is, but he's tall. So this is one that still has to be priced and put into inventory because he's new. And I have to make a decision on price. It's going to be about $12 worth of yarn at regular price. And then the price of the stuffing and the eyes and the time. I'm thinking that I want to be somewhere around $35 to $38 on it. I don't know. He's kind of plain. You know, I'm just not sure. So I have to think about him. I have a week. And he's definitely got some character to him. Anyhow, so we did that. And I had a little bit of that second skein left over. And I don't know what happened, but something made me want to make a cow in overalls. But I did not want to buy another pattern. And I'm like, I can do the overalls myself. I don't need someone to tell me how to do it. I can do that myself. So I went to look, and I have several cow patterns. And honestly, the one that sold the best for me has been the free one from Rosalie Toys and the one that stands on all fours from 1 Cent Crochet. The other patterns that I bought, like, I still have them all that I made. So I don't know why I wanted to do a cow, but I wanted to do a cow in overalls. So I looked at my patterns, and I had Madeline Mako's baby cow. So it's going to seem weird, but I mixed Bernat with that sprinkles, that Parfait XL sprinkles, and made this cow. So I used a 7mm hook with this one. I went back in and added a few spots to, I don't know, give her a little character. But then I'm looking at this as it's sitting here. I forgot to make the pocket. So I need to go back and make the pocket for the overalls and attach that. Now I did not do the little horns the way it said to do the horns. I just went back and did surface bobble stitches for the horns. I was just like, I don't want to play with the little parts. And so, yeah, I'm going to go and make the little pocket, sew the pocket on. And again, with this, to get, oh my goodness, all the fluff. To get a nice clean edge, I did 1 round of back loop only slip stitch that I did not count as a round. It's like extra. And then the next round went into the back loop of the slip stitch round, starting off as being the next numbered round in the pattern to give it a nice clean look there. And then we added a little headband because it just needed something. But yep, still needs its pocket, and I'll have to go make that. This is another one that is not yet priced because it is new and hopefully is not around for very long. So I need to put those in the system. So then, still going with that theme of let's make things that I have the tags already made for, with a few specifics that I picked out purposely, not just, you know, random luck of the draw. Actually, most of these were picked out purposely. But it was, you know, with sorting and then, okay, I have these and this and that. And anyways, so we had to do another Night Fury. And this is Snugglebeans Crochet's pattern. The only thing I do different is you do an increase round and then one round of the new number because of the increase. I added an extra round in between those because I have short squatty stitches and the tail ends up really short and I like it a little bit longer. So I make my tail a little longer on this. And I'm putting it together and I'm going, I know this was small, but I just don't remember it being this small. But yeah, I don't know. These are fun to make. And they are very low sew. You sew the head to the body, the wings to the body, and the tail to the body. All of these are crocheted in. You make the legs separate and then it's all crocheted in. She uses the back post single crochet for the legs. It makes it so much more sturdy and nicer. I really like that back post single crochet. But she says in the pattern, if it's hard for you to do that, it's perfectly fine to do a back loop only. But this looks way better. Way, 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 way better. Doing the back post single crochets. And then, of course, I had to make my own eyes. I did so much better this time. I didn't make a mess with them. I just did a little bit at a time. And I'm like a very impatient person, so I want to get it done fast, so I have a tendency to like put extra on there and then it runs over the sides and makes a mess. But I didn't do that this time. I did the eyes first because I knew I was going to make this and I knew that I needed green and I didn't have any green color discs, so I did it first. But I am almost out of that extra fine green glitter that came with my little resin kit. So I'm going to have to get some green glitter. So I have one more thing. And this I started last night. I was sitting there watching some Netflix as I was crocheting, and I was working on, you know, the keychains and, I think the rubber ducks, then the possums, and, well, anyways, so I'm sitting there, and I get a message from Mary that says, Tracy from Travel Crochet is live, and this is her first live, so I'm like, oh, cool, thanks. So I jump onto YouTube, and I head on over there and sat in on her live, which for her very first one, which wasn't planned, she was trying to like do a test to test out some new equipment that she got, but it ended up actually going live publicly. And so she stayed on. It was great. She didn't seem nervous at all. My first live, I was a nervous wreck. I probably had sweat rolling off at every part of my body because I was so nervous. But she did fantastic. But anyways, while we were doing that, I was sitting in on the live. I did the possum keychains, and then I started, y'all ain't gonna believe this, but I started a large loaf cat. The Annie Caraway pattern. And after making this last night, I remember why I only made the couple that I made. The legs and the ears never line up. But looking at this, I'm thinking if I just do one more stitch in between the ears, she says to do 4, but if I did 5, I'm thinking that might do the trick. Anyways, I used Bernat Dappled. And you know what? I looked at the color name and I don't remember. It's not very exciting though. It's just a gray. And I got to, the only reason I picked to do this is I had two, and I didn't care for them because I used these kind of eyes on it. But when I did the market with Sue, I was kind of trying to switch up my stuff and take out things that I knew we both made and add in older stock to, you know, just to mix it up and try to, like, where we both had different items. Well, the big loaf cats were there, and I'm like, you know what the heck? I'll never know if they're going to sell if I don't take them to a market. And I'll be darned, I sold both of those. 2 different markets, but I sold both of those, and it was the eyes that got them. So I had to order eyes for that mimic book that I made, which I probably should make one of those for market, but I haven't done that. That was one of those things that I made for the coffee dungeon. So I made another loaf cat, and of course, if you're looking at them, you can see the ears and the legs don't line up. This side, I think, is okay. This side, it seems like the ear is too far over, and this would be the first ear. So I'm thinking if I add just one more stitch, put 5 in between there, that it would make it not look crooked. I don't know. I really think that's what it is, that it needs an extra stitch, maybe 2. When you're making it, you can't tell. I mean, because it looks even, and then you get some more rounds, and when you start stuffing it, that is when you start to notice the problem. And because this is just one big round tube with ears and a tail, it's hard to judge until the stuffing gets in there. But I have one more tag left, and I'm going to try another one. I'm not sure. Not sure what color I'll use. I might just go with black. Give it little white feet and a white tail, you know, like the tip of the tail or something. I don't know. And I'm going to try that with the extra stitch, maybe 2. Because it looks so off. It just needs, this ear just needs to come over another stitch or 2. And I think it'd be fine. So, yeah. Anyhow, that is what I got done. But I feel very proud of myself that, except for 2 items, that I was kept up with the pricing and putting it into inventory. So all this can just go straight into the market bags. Because it's ready to go, except for the 2, the dinosaur and the cow. And, well, the possums were new, but I was like already in the system when I was adding the mushrooms and everything. That I just went ahead and made up new tags and assigned a SKU number and all that. So there we go. Nothing like massively impressive, but I feel like I got a whole lot accomplished. And we're going to go. But I want to say thank you once again to every single one of you that has subscribed, that sits there and watches me just ramble along on the screen and show my cute little makes. Thank you so much. I so much appreciate it. We'll have to do something to celebrate, you know, come up with a giveaway of some sorts, but it would have to be digital, I think, so that everybody can join in. I don't want it just to be, you know, the US. I want everyone to be able to join in if we do a giveaway. So I'll give me a little time to think about this one, and we'll come up with something and we'll celebrate like that. All right, so we will see you in the next video.